You're looking at a watch that costs $500. Right there on the dial, it says Swiss made. But here's the thing, 90% of this watch was actually made in China. Sounds illegal, right? Well, it's not. And I'm about to show you 5 watches doing this right now, including one luxury brand charging $1,800 for what's essentially the same Chinese case you'd find on a $300 watch. That markup? Over $1,400. For what? We'll get to that. But before you think this is some expose to trash these companies, let me be clear. It's not. This is about understanding what Swiss made actually means, because it might not be what you think. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot it yourself. Let's dive in. So what does Swiss made actually mean? Most people think it means the entire watch was built in Switzerland. Every screw, every spring, every piece of the case crafted by Swiss watchmakers in the Alps. But the law says something completely different. A watch only needs to meet 3 requirements. 60% of the manufacturing costs must happen in Switzerland. It needs a Swiss movement, and the final inspection has to be done in Switzerland. That's it. Here's what that means in plain English. 40% of your Swiss-made watch can come from anywhere. The case, China. The dial, China. The hands, the bracelet, even some movement components. All can be made in China, and the watch still gets to say Swiss made on the dial. Now, why would brands do this? Simple. Money. Manufacturing a watch case in Switzerland might cost $100. The exact same case made in China? $20. When you're trying to sell a watch for $500 and still make a profit, that $80 difference is the difference between existing and going out of business. And here's the thing, Chinese factories can produce excellent quality. This isn't about cutting corners. It's about economics. Swiss labor costs are insane. A watchmaker there earns $70,000 to $100,000 a year. These brands aren't trying to scam you. They're trying to survive. But here's the question. When you pay for a Swiss-made watch, are you getting what you think you're getting? That's what we're here to figure out. And I'm going to show you the 5 biggest offenders, starting with the most affordable and building up to the luxury scandal at the end. Let's start with the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80, $350. One of the most popular affordable Swiss watches right now. It's everywhere on watch forums, and people love it. Here's what's Swiss. The Powermatic 80 movement. It's based on the ETA 2824, assembled and regulated in Switzerland. 80 hours of power reserve. Solid, reliable, proven. Here's what's Swiss. The case, the dial, the bracelet, everything you actually see and touch. All made in China. Then it gets shipped to Switzerland, the movement goes in, final assembly happens, and boom, Swiss made. How do we know? Tissot is owned by the Swatch Group, and they've openly discussed outsourcing case production in their investor reports. Watch forums have documented this for years. Some watchmakers have even posted teardown videos showing the case markings. Tissot isn't hiding it. They're just not putting it on the box. At $350, this is still solid value. You're getting a genuine Swiss movement in a well-made package. The case finishing is actually impressive for the price. Just know what you're paying for. You're buying the movement, not the heritage. Want to check yourself? Search Tissot PRX Teardown on YouTube. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Next up, the Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic, $400 to $500. This is the watch that gets recommended constantly for beginners. Affordable, versatile, military-inspired. And yes, it says Swiss-made. But here's the irony. Hamilton is marketed as an American heritage brand. They lean hard into that military history, that Pennsylvania-made legacy. Except the brand is Swiss-owned by the Swatch Group, and the cases are made in China. The movement? Swiss. Either the ETA 28242 or the H10. Both legit. But the case, dial, hands, and strap? Manufactured in Asia. Same playbook as Tissot. Parts made overseas, shipped to Switzerland for assembly and testing. This is still one of the best entry-level automatics you can buy. The design is timeless, the movement is reliable, and the build quality punches above its weight. At $400 to $500, it delivers. But don't assume Swiss-made means every part was crafted in the Alps. And definitely don't buy it thinking you're getting American manufacturing. That ship sailed decades ago. Number 3. The Certina DS Action Diver, $600 to $700. This is where things get interesting. This is a Swiss dive watch competing with brands like Oris and Longines. 300 meters water resistance, ceramic bezel, Powermatic 80 movement. Sounds premium, right? Here's the problem. It's the exact same manufacturing strategy as the Tissot PRX, Swiss movement, Chinese case, ceramic bezel, dial, and bracelet. Final assembly in Switzerland. Certina is also part of the Swatch group. So why are you paying out double what a PRX costs? Good question. You're getting better finishing, sharper case edges, nicer dial printing, a ceramic bezel instead of aluminum. But is that worth an extra $350? That's the same price as an entire Tissot PRX. This is where the Swatch Group's strategy starts falling apart. At $600 to $700, you're entering territory where competitors offer more Swiss content. The watch performs well. It's tough, accurate, looks great. But value-wise, there are better options. Brands like Mido or even some micro brands give you more for your money at this price point. Certina isn't bad, it's just not exceptional. Number 4, the Mido Ocean Star Diver $600, $900 to $1,000. Now we're getting into serious money. Mido is lesser known than Tissot or Hamilton, but they make serious tool watches. This diver is rated to 600 meters. That's professional grade. It's got the caliber 80 movement, which is Mido's version of the Powermatic 80, Swiss through and through. But guess what? Case, dial, hands, bracelet, all from China. Mido is part of the Swatch Group. Same supply chain, same strategy. At $1,000 and you'd expect more Swiss content. You're not getting it. This is where it gets questionable. At this price, you're competing with micro brands that offer fully Swiss-made watches or Japanese brands with in-house movements. The Mido is well-built and reliable, but you're paying a premium for the Swatch Group name. If you love the design, go for it. But value-wise, there are better options at this price. We'll talk about those in a minute. And now, the big one. The Longines HydroConquest, $1,200 to $1,800. Longines has serious heritage. They're positioned as a luxury brand. They sponsor the Kentucky Derby. They've got a 190-year history. They make watches for pilots and divers. This is supposed to be the premium option. So surely this one is fully Swiss, right? Not even close. The movement, typically an ETA-based caliber or Longines' own L888, is Swiss-made and finished to higher standards than cheaper Swatch Group brands. That's genuine. But the case? China. The bracelet? China. The dial components? You guessed it, China. Yes, even at $1,800. Longines is part of the Swatch Group. Same global supply chain. The difference is they apply stricter quality control and better finishing to those Chinese-made cases. But it's still the same fundamental strategy as Tissot. Let me put this in perspective. A Tissot PRX costs $350 with a Chinese case. A Longines HydroConquest costs $1,800 with a Chinese case. That's a formal $1,450 markup for better polishing and a fancier logo. The finishing on a Longines is noticeably better than a Tissot. Sharper edges, better polishing, nicer dial details. The movements are more refined. It's objectively a higher quality watch. But at $1,200 to $1,800, you're paying luxury prices for a watch that's partially made in China. Brands like Oris and some micro brands offer more Swiss content for similar money. If you love the Longines name and design, it's still a quality watch, but value? That's where it falls apart. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Does this affect quality? Here's the thing. Chinese manufacturing isn't automatically inferior. The same factories producing these cases are making components for all kinds of high-end products. The quality depends on the standards the brand sets and the quality control they enforce. A Longines case made in China with strict tolerances can absolutely be better than a poorly made Swiss case. The issue isn't where it's made, it's whether you're paying a fair price for what you're actually getting. And that's where transparency matters. Compare these brands to someone like Oris. Oris is also a Swiss brand at similar price points, but they've been much more vocal about manufacturing their cases in Switzerland. Or look at micro brands like Christopher Ward, who clearly state on their website exactly where each component comes from. They'll tell you the movement is Swiss, the case is made in Switzerland, and they're proud of it. The difference isn't necessarily the quality, it's the honesty. When a brand is upfront about their manufacturing, you can make an informed decision. When they rely on the Swiss-made label to do the talking while staying quiet about the details, that's where it feels less ethical, even if it's legal. You're not being lied to, but you're also not being told the whole truth. So what do you actually do with this information? Let's get practical. If you're buying a Swatch Group watch, Tissot, Hamilton, Certina, Mido, Longines, just assume the case and bracelet are made in Asia. That's their standard model. It doesn't mean the watch is bad. It just means you should price accordingly. If you want to verify this yourself, here's what to do. First, check watch forums like Watch You Seek or Reddit's watch community. Enthusiasts have already done the detective work on most popular models. Second, search for tear-down videos by independent watchmakers. They often mention component origins and case markings. Third, ask the seller directly. Where is the case manufactured? Not where the watch is assembled, where the case is made. Most won't have the answer, but brands' customer service teams should. If they give you vague responses like manufactured to Swiss standards without naming locations, you know they're avoiding the truth. If you want alternatives, brands that are more transparent, here are your options. Oris manufactures cases in Switzerland and they're vocal about it. Prices range from $1,000 to $3,000. Christopher Ward openly lists component origins on their website. They'll tell you exactly what's Swiss, what's sourced elsewhere, and they price accordingly. $500 to $2,000. Micro brands like Ferrer, Baltic, or Laurier are completely transparent. They'll tell you exactly what's Swiss, what's Japanese, what's Chinese, and they price accordingly. $300 to $1,000. Even Japanese brands like Grand Seiko or Seiko offer better transparency and often better value. $500 to $5,000. Here's the bottom line. When does this actually matter and when doesn't it? If you're buying a $350 Tissot PRX and you just want a reliable, good-looking watch with a Swiss movement, this doesn't matter. You're getting solid value regardless of where the case was made. But if you're spending $1,500 on a Longines, and part of what you're paying for is the prestige of Swiss manufacturing, then yes, it matters. You should know that you're not getting a fully Swiss product. It also matters if the authenticity and transparency are important to you as a buyer. Some people don't care where the case is made as long as the watch works. Others feel misled when Swiss-made doesn't mean what they thought it meant. Neither perspective is wrong. It's about knowing what you value and making sure you're getting it. So here's what we've learned today. Swiss-made is a legal label, and these brands are following the rules. But it's not always what you'd expect when you see those words on a dial. A watch can have its case, bracelet, and dial made in China, get assembled in Switzerland, and still qualify as Swiss-made. That's just how the law works. Whether that bothers you or not is entirely up to you. There's no right answer here. What matters is that you're informed. So when you're spending your hard-earned money, you know exactly what you're getting. Now here's my question for you. Longines charges $1,800 for a watch with a Chinese case. Tissot charges $350 for the exact same thing. That's a $1,450 markup. For what? A shinier logo? You tell me if that's worth it. Drop your take in the comments below. And if you want to see the micro brands I mentioned, the ones offering better value with full transparency, I'm breaking that down in next week's video. You won't want to miss it. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.